What's up, people? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Just trying to get the show going because, as usual, there's lots to talk about, and I just want to try and cover everything that I have on my list. That's what I want to try and do. First of all, again, this is just funny because I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel. He's a narrative manager like anyone else, and so I'm not holding him up as what a great guy. It's just funny because, as people predicted, him being taken off the air only increased his ratings, right? His ratings were going down. He wasn't doing very well anyways, and that's what people were trying to cite as the reason. People who were trying to lie and gaslight people. Oh, he was bad for business. That's why they got rid of him. They didn't get rid of him because of a backlash from something he said about Charlie Kirk. Anyways, they kicked him off, put him back on, and he's getting huge ratings again. And all of this is, for the all this is for the theater, but whatever. I think it's funny. Um, try not to get caught up in the partisan politics of it all, because really that's what they want. Anything that aids people going like, yeah, screw you, we're gonna get you guys. Anything that aids that kind of those feelings. I don't know. It's hard to dissect what to do in the face of all the fakeness. I mean, on some levels, you have to kind of go forward, right, and do your best. There is something to be said for political pressure, right? Boycotts, strikes, voices loud in favor of a particular policy or outcome, or vehemently not in favor of a particular policy or outcome, can turn the tide. So you have to kind of, even though there's a lot of faking going on, there's a lot of I don't know what you want to call it, jukes, right, on the football field of politics. There's a lot of juking going on, a lot of faking. Even though there's all this stuff happening, even though there's fake people everywhere, you kind of have to go forward and do your best anyways, because you don't have any other choice. Right? If you just sit around and wait for stuff to happen, it's going to get worse. And that's really why things have gotten worse in the last, especially over the last 30 or 40 years, is because people have lost the ability to really like organize and assemble around things and really, really, really push back on things. It gets harder for people to do that. I know. But if you don't push back, things just, they'll just roll over you. And that's, those are your choices, is getting rolled over or trying to stop getting rolled over on. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in voting, but if you've, if there was a really decent candidate to rally around, I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't say don't rally around this decent candidate. And if that decent, as the playbook goes, if that decent candidate turns rotten, goes corrupt, turns out to be a fake, well, then you get rid of their ass and you get somebody else in there, another decent candidate. It's hard though, because we're being deep faked like all the time. But what else are you going to do? You have to organize around something. And the real game, in my mind, or what I'm kind of seeing from years of observation, is that the real game is a lack of agency. The real game is to get you to stand down. The real game is to get you to go like, oh, I don't know, if I just don't give it any energy, then maybe it'll go away. I mean, maybe, but it doesn't look like that's working. We ignore problems and hope that they'll go away, and just, cover our eyes and just like, oh my God, it's so bad. How bad can it get? How much worse can it get? And we hope that things will turn around. But if you don't actually ask for something or push for something or define what it is you'd like to see, then you're going to just get rolled on. And that we have been getting rolled on. We've been getting rolled on for 30, 40, 50 years. We just keep getting rolled on. They just keep taking more from us, and we get less and less, and we get, now we've gotten to the point where we're getting absolute shit and absolute fascism, and everybody's sitting around going, well, gosh, this looks bad. The point is to get you to not have any agency. And I know a lot of people probably mean well when they say, don't take the bait, or don't get involved, don't vote, don't don't try. Maybe they might mean well, maybe their hearts are in a good place, maybe they're authentic in their belief, but like all of those messages are meant to take your agency away and to get you to stop trying. In the end, whether that's the intention or not, they end up having a cumulative effect of getting you to go like, oh, I don't care, whatever. So who cares about Jimmy Kimmel? But I care about the pushback around the story. Again, like in, climate change per se. The narrative for so long, they've been pushing out the it's not really happening narrative for so long. And it's become so like almost fashionable to be anti-climate change that you don't understand that that's actually been very effective propaganda, and it's been adopted by, the cool kids. But the planet keeps unraveling. The ability for the planet to, have a stable climate keeps unraveling. Why does it keep unraveling? Because we are getting warmer. That is actually happening. And if your message aligns with Donald Trump's message, well, I wonder, are you on the right side? I don't know. Rugasa did a lot of damage. All over the Far East. Super Typhoon Rugasa brought a severe storm surge to the Pearl River estuary in Guangdong, flooding the coastal areas of Zhuhai's Golan Island. More car soup, indeed. What part of more frequent don't people understand? Extreme weather is hitting harder and faster. This isn't coincidence. This is climate change in action. Giving you a little overview of the last year or so. And this is true, objectively true. If you look at what is going on the planet, the frequency and severity of these extreme weather events, only escalating, not going down, escalating. And they're trying to get, they're doing a good job trying to get you to not pay attention to this. But if you put it all together, if you see it from a macro lens, and you can see what's happening, you're like, you have to come to the conclusion that something is different. And no, they don't hate Wales or Italy or the Dominican Republic, which is what they do when they want to focus on one specific weather event. They hate North Carolina or whatever it is. You could probably hide certain things among all this carnage, and I don't doubt that the powers that be aren't trying to use some of these things in order to hide some of their escapades. That makes perfect sense to me. But you're not generating all of these happenstances, all because you like to. I'm sorry, it's just not possible. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it. And it takes an awful lot of energy to do all this. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? People are rolling in. And if you don't believe in climate change, well, just, maybe you believe that we're... maybe you just want to be selfish about it and just go, well, humans are having a hard time because we're inhaling microplastics everywhere we go and touching endocrine disruptors everywhere we go, and the birth rates are plummeting, and people are getting cancers all the time because we're poisoning ourselves with food and bad food, bad air, bad water. If you believe in that, well, then you're halfway to understanding climate change. Yeah, Moronocene is a pretty good descriptor of, I have to say, I agree with you, Malcolm. We are in the Moronocene. However, I think that people are trying to become aware, but they're just not aware. There are so many. There's a sucker born every minute, I guess. This is the saying goes, right? So many people that are falling prey to a lot of these psyops and agendas and propagandas. And some of them are really sneaky. Some of them are sneaky, man. I think, okay, I'm gonna make a prediction, and it's based on a feeling I've long had. I think that in the coming year or so or two, you're gonna see some people who you were like, no way. Some people who you thought were super duper extra authentic truth tellers come out or be outed as ops. That's my prediction. I don't know who. I don't have specific names. I'm not thinking about somebody specifically. I'm just saying you're gonna see, right? Because there's like the mainstream, the alternative mainstream media or whatever, the alternative social media people, right, who are opping away, right? There are lots of ops out there, lots of people out there who are, under question, under scrutiny. Hey, I don't think you're really like a good faith actor. I don't know, man. I mean, it's already a lot of the right-wing truthers are all now aligning with the Trump narrative, right? The Israeli narrative, whatever you want to call it, the Israeli psyop / right-wing narrative. All of them are aligning with this. I'm seeing, it's kind of weird to me. Like I'm seeing the quartering. Who else is in there? There was a couple of people I saw who, people who I have seen their stuff kind of replayed or reposted or retold on other like alternative media channels that were coming from they're like a more right wing but still alternative independent media thing, and these folks are straight up regurgitating propaganda right now around the Charlie Kirk thing, around the stuff that's happening. They are straight up like, oh no, well, we're Zionists, sorry. So my prediction is some of the people that you thought were super duper ooper truth tellers are going to flip flop like fish on a deck in the next year or two. Anyways, I've said enough. All right. Mossad YouTubers, yeah, because they run deep. They're deep undercover, very deep undercover. Anyways. Let me not be too strident in my tone. Italy has said that it is going to deploy a Navy ship to help the Gaza flotilla. So I'm gonna actually say I don't, there is a part of me, like, Godspeed to the flotilla. I support what the flotilla is doing. I have no other reason than to be on the side of the flotilla. There is a small percentage of my brain that is considering that even the flotilla is an op. The flotilla might be an op. Some people might be like, duh, of course it's an op, bro. I mean, I don't know. The only reason why I think and I don't know if it's because it's an op that they haven't been totally destroyed yet, or if Israel is like any other good narcissist, and that they understand, like, they can hurt people like behind closed doors. Like they can bomb the heck out of people in Gaza, and somehow they think that's like, under the cover of Hamas or whatever. But maybe they think like, well, if we just straight out like bomb one of these flotilla ships to smithereens, like that might get people really pissed at it, right? It might be more like galvanizing. And I know that's a crazy thing to even say, right? Like somehow bombing a flotilla ship is more galvanizing than killing 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000 children in Gaza. Like somehow that's more galvanizing. But they probably understand that if they did something like that, it would be like a moment in which the world might go, all right, like, okay, now. So I don't know. I'm 99%, invested in the flotilla, like doing its thing and being successful. But my other 1% has a reservation of, something about this seems a little weird, because they keep like bombing the ships, but nothing ever happens to the ships. How many times does it happen? 3 or 4 times? I'm like, really? You just bomb the end of the ship each time? Every time you bomb the ship, it's like you bomb the end of the ship and everybody's like, oh my God. So there's a part of my brain that's like, the bombings are fake, because if they really wanted to hurt these people, it wouldn't be that hard. Even with a drone, even one drone could take one of these ships out like in a hot second. But they can't seem to do that, and that makes me go, either this flotilla is a straight up op, or they really, really don't want to bomb one of these ships to smithereens and face the wrath like of the world, going, you've gone too far. Killing 300,000 children is, well, that's pretty pretty despicable. But bombing one of these ships, no, well, no way. So that's my thoughts on the flotilla. But interestingly, Italy is like, you know what? We're gonna aid them. We're gonna go protect them. And I think this is a good thing, right? Because you're kind of drawing in the international community. You keep hearing statements by certain countries and certain organizations or certain entities saying like, man, we really got to do something about this. Like this sucks. Like we got to do something, like, but kind of everybody's like, if we get in there and start like really going against them, like of course you risk things escalating into like an all out war. So there's that. Who knows? It's a very tense situation. Italy urged an international flotilla to hand over its aid supplies for Gaza on Wednesday and allow them to be distributed by the local Catholic Church as a way to ward off further risks after the flotilla was attacked by drones overnight. A global Samud flotilla is using about 50 civilian boats to try and break Israel's naval blockade of Gaza. Many lawyers and activists, including Swedish climate campaigner Greta Thunberg, are on board. Italy sent a Navy ship to the flotilla's assistance after the vessels were attacked by 12 drones in international waters 30 nautical miles off the Greek islands of Gavdos. All passengers were safe after drones exploded over the vessels, said Markady Stasanow, a spokesperson for the March to Gaza, Greece, which is part of the flotilla. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said Rome's proposal was to hand over the aid in Cyprus to the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem, which would then deliver it. It is a proposal that seems to have the support of the Cypriot government. This doesn't sound as, as much of a strong statement as I thought it was going to be. Meloni, let's see, told reporters in New York, we are awaiting a response from the flotilla. Meloni urged the flotilla to accept the plan and criticized its aid initiative, calling it gratuitous, dangerous, and irresponsible. Wow. Well, Meloni is a right-winger, by the way. Anyways, they did send a ship to aid, the flotilla, which is interesting. Italian Defense Minister Guido Crosetto, strongly condemned the incident and said in a statement the sea convoy had been targeted by currently unidentified perpetrators. Really? Oh, are you sure? He ordered this article is ridiculous. This whole thing is kind of ridiculous. He ordered the Italian multi-purpose frigate Fasan, previously sailing north of Crete, to head towards the flotilla for possible rescue operations, focusing primarily on Italian citizens. The GSF called on other nations to ensure and facilitate effective protection, including maritime escort, accredited diplomatic observers, and an overt protective state presence. Italy has now taken a first step in this direction. Israel has repeatedly criticized the flotilla, accusing its activists of complicity with the Hamas militant group. Everyone's Hamas, we know. Sure, everyone's Hamas if they think you're a murderous, genocidal entity, right? Yeah. Everyone thinks that, Israel. So I guess everyone's Hamas. You guys seem a little thick in the brain. Are you ever going to stop funding Hamas, though? That's the question. The drones, let's see. Earlier this month, the flotilla blamed Israel for other drone strikes on its boats while they were moored in a Tunisian port. The drones came in the middle of the night, dropping stun grenades and itching powder, damaging the sails of some boats, according to two leftist Italian members of the European Parliament. Huh. I don't know. Israel seems a little paranoid. Are you guys coordinating with Hamas? You say what we're doing is bad. Does that mean you're coordinating with Hamas? Are you like 4 years old? You made kimchi today? Nice. I've had kimchi. I really like kimchi. I do. Maybe I'll make kimchi. I like anything like pickled. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm says I have a... She's been sidetracked by normals. Greta has been sidetracked by normals. Well, do you believe that she is a credible actor in this? Do you think that she, is doing this because she's using her... I mean, she's using her notoriety, her presence to draw awareness to this issue. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, whether you think that Greta's an op or she's fake or whatever, she's drawing awareness to this issue, right? A humanitarian issue. It's the right thing to do. She's doing the right thing. I have nothing but praise for what she's doing. I think, and if you think that it makes it harder for Israel to actually just bomb the shit out of this flotilla and kill everybody on board because nobody knows who they are, nobody cares. Oh, Greta Thunberg's there. It's a little different, right? It might be the thing that's keeping them from just going, let's just take them out. Take them out. Netanyahu, take them out. So it might be her name. Do you know anybody else on that flotilla do you know anybody else by name on that flotilla? Probably not. If you do, congratulations to you, but I'm betting cash money that 98% of the world doesn't know one other person's name on that flotilla but Greta Thunberg. So Greta Thunberg, her name alone might be keeping Israel from just bombing the absolute mess out of all these boats. So kudos to Greta Thunberg for that. So I have no issues with Greta Thunberg being there, and it makes it kind of hard to be on the like I hate Greta Thunberg train, doesn't it? Like her or not, believe her or not, what she's doing is a good thing. I'll call it great. What she's doing is great, and we should support what she's doing and support this flotilla, even if it's an op, even if it's not totally up and on the up and up. People are behind it. The message is anti-Israel. The message is humanitarian aid for Gaza. What's wrong with supporting that? There is nothing wrong with supporting that, even if you think it's fake, even if you think it's not real, even if there's something fishy about it, even if you don't like Greta Thunberg, you should support this. Period. This is a good post from Boots Riley. And I think, again, to go back to what I was saying in the first part of the show, which is just a repetition of something I say all the time, to dismiss everything as fake is, to instill that anti-agency thing in everybody, to turn everything off and go, I don't care, whatever, it's all fake. I'm just going to go do my thing. It's lazy. It's unproductive. And it destroys people's, the muscle that might make them go like, you know what? I really care about this. I really care. Can we do something about this? And you should care about this. Boots Riley, Italy's prime minister is a right winger. And she is. This is happening because Italy had a general strike that scared the shit out of them. Strikes are the most effective way to stop profits. Did I show you guys that they were having a general strike? I don't know if that's. I try to get in so much during the shows, and I had that in my queue. I don't know if I showed it to you guys or not, but they were having a general strike against what's happening in Gaza in Italy. Huge. It was huge. A huge strike. Strikes are the most effective way to stop profits, get demands, and force policy changes. If you can shut down profit, you can make any politician do anything. I don't know if this is a direct result of the strikes, but surely that puts it, it could be part of the pressure. Did the strikes pressure the PM to do something about something? Possibly. But he's right. He's right. He's right. He's right. The strikes, the pressure, it, causes people to push back. Yes, Israel's prime minister is right wing, but you can force any politician to do anything if you put enough pressure on him. Look at freaking Nixon. Nixon actually did, he ended the war, but he did a few things that were compromises with the left, because the protest movement was so gigantic when he was right. It was gigantic when he was president, and there are lots of tapes of him, saying, out loud, I am scared. I am scared of how many people are out there in front of the White House. I am scared. They had to cave on some shit. Yes, George Robson. Nixon started EPA. Yep. I mean, JFK, was supposedly progressive, but like the civil rights movement had to force him and his brother to change things, right? They weren't going to do that. They weren't like, all right, we're in office, we're going to make, things great for black people. Like, they didn't do that on their own accord. They had freaking meetings with fucking MLK. They had, they were trying to avoid the issue. They were trying to ignore the issue. They were hoping that it would go away. Literally, that's what JFK was doing. I hope this goes away. This sucks. Makes me look bad. Makes me look like a fascist, white supremacist monster. Keeping alive a fascist, white supremacist system. He's a Democrat. They had to force his ass to make changes. Jesus. So that's what, that's how you should look at politics today. Democrat or Republican, they're all the same. You have to force their asses to make changes. You have to get out in the street in order to get the things you want. And again, whether, theater aside, I'm telling you right now, it was because everybody started canceling their Disney accounts that Jimmy Kimmel came back. So the real hero of that story is not Jimmy Kimmel or anybody in the limelight. The hero of that story is all the people I saw canceling their Disney accounts on Instagram. Good job. Y'all did it. But, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Jimmy Kimmel. Who cares? Yeah, well, Nixon took us off the gold standard. What else did he do? He opened up China. Like, he literally started the whole thing that has led to the American, production base and unions, right? Basically, having a strong unionized workforce. He started the thing that dismantled that. He started that whole operation. Jimmy Kimmel is the closer for Disney and their major ad sales events, according to Mr. Brad Binkley. So he's never going anywhere. All PR. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that it's, political football. It's nice political football or whatever for people to go like, yeah, our side. No, F your side. I'm just saying, all the people canceling their Disney accounts, had more to do with him coming back. If there was pressure involved, that had more to do with him coming back than the actress writing a letter. Because think about how bad that looks for your brand. People are canceling their Disney accounts. I mean, it's not just a show, it's not just a streaming platform. It's freaking Disney, right? It's like everything. They're a huge brand, right? It's a bad look for them. This is weird. I'm going to try and hurry up for the rest of the show. This is weird. Breaking in a joint statement following their meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump, leaders of the Arab and Islamic countries stressed the urgent need to end the war and called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Really? Didn't I hear this? How many times have we heard this before? Right. Reflect the sun. That's true. I feel like we've heard this before, but they're like, you better stop this stuff in the Gaza, U.S., and they're just like, whatever. Very little. This is even weirder. What's the op around this one? Anybody have any ideas? the the Syrian president, former Al Qaeda leader, and I'm sure CIA operative, said, "We fully support the people and children of Gaza, and we call for an immediate ceasefire." Really? So this is obviously some PR on his part. No, we really care about them. Meanwhile, in the tunnels of Israel, Revolutionary Blackout Network, YouTube removed this hotspot video I made about Charlie Kirk for cyberbullying. They accused me of cyberbullying a dead man for simply replaying his own words. He said, I'm going to show Charlie Kirk the same respect as he showed George Floyd and MLK. Rest in piss. Come back. So, I'm sure if he was taken out because he had started changing his mind around certain events. And it's all the evidence points to that. But he wasn't, he wasn't a free speech healer of the country. So he was just your typical right-wing podcast dude. Like, no, he wasn't any like greater than, he's on the level of like Ben Shapiro, maybe. I don't even know if he's that well known of maybe. So he's just a straight up, right-wing dog whistling podcaster. Like, that's all he was. I don't know why that people are, trying to reinvent him as some kind of like reaching across and, healing the country, type of person. Like, it's just Steven Crowder. Yeah. Steven Crowder. I was going to say he's like on the level of what, a Steven Crowder, a Ben Shapiro, help me out, a Candace Owens even. But it's like, really? Charlie Kirk? Like, is your hero? I mean, can you imagine like this kind of, if like a mainstream media type person was killed? Can you imagine like this level of hype? I can't even imagine this level of hype. So it's kind of bizarre. It doesn't really add up. to the hype worthiness. But anyways, let's.
Charlie Kirk, unfortunately, is another victim of white-on-white violence. But don't worry, he died doing what he loved, trying to start a race war and supporting a genocide.
Hamas uses the kids as human shields on top of their military bases. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place. I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine. There is no starvation in Gaza.
The war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage. And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it, and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves.
And so civilians are going to die, and that is a tragedy. And Hamas brought this upon themselves.
What happened to Charlie Kirk is exactly what he supports Israel doing to Palestinians in Gaza, where they are murdering over 100 Palestinians per day. Violence has no place in America. Save that shit for the brown kids we kill overseas. Supporting a genocide is not a simple political disagreement. So I'm going to show Charlie Kirk the same respect and death that he showed George Floyd, who he wouldn't allow to rest in peace. The same right-wing scum who shared memes of George Floyd dying are now expecting us to show respect for their dead Nazis. These people are such shameless hypocrites, but Black Twitter is not letting them off the hook. Not only did Charlie Kirk monetize the death of George Floyd and called him a scumbag, he even attacked MLK. This man released an entire video series demonizing and attacking MLK. Meanwhile, we're supposed to show him grace? The grace that he never showed us?
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Now, we know you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 Black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation.
Racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
That affected the generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
This motherfucker spent the last few weeks of his life trying to start a race war between Black Americans and white Americans. Meanwhile, we are supposed to mourn this scumbag. Now white America is trying to rehabilitate the image of this racist scumbag and paint him as a hero. We absolutely cannot allow that to happen.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
It's funny. I mean, yeah, people are going to go off on tribalism. Yes, they are. And if they've, if you feel like your group, the people, who you identify as or with, was attacked by somebody, you're gonna attack back. I don't know if that's necessarily high vibrational or not. You used to like Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes sucks. I don't really, I've watched a few of his things. It just, every time I start watching him, I'm like, I don't know. About 30 seconds in, I'm just like, oh God, I can't. Like, he just says that he drops too many like dog whistle-y type bullshit things. And I'm not. He appeals to the same demographic that Charlie Kirk does. Ben Shapiro, right? Like Steven Crowder, the same demographic. Oh, you mean Nick on Black? You don't like Nick? From you don't like Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network. So you don't like him because you think he's just towing a narrative, or what? Is it I mean, do you think he's just like the division? Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I can see it. I've played plenty of things from Revolutionary Blackout. Don't really think that I played too many, if no things from Charlie Kirk or Nick Fuentes or any of those folks. So I probably align more with the Revolutionary Blackout folks, but do I spend a lot of time watching his content? Not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't like I don't spend time watching things that are obviously partisan onto one side or the other. Like if you're obviously like partisan left, I just don't, generally it doesn't really move me. But I don't know, man. There's so many dividing lines and divisions. It really is. It's very depressing and sad. It makes me, kind of feel a little low inside when I feel like, this person is to this or to that, or just, I don't know. But that's where we are. We all have our lanes that we try to find the people that we like resonate with. And sometimes it's hard to find people you resonate with. I don't know. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of creators and podcasters out there. So there's a lot to choose from. It's not targeted to you, white boy. Right. I mean, the reason why I do like Revolutionary Blackout Network is they are unabashed socialists. And I rock with that. I rock with people who are unabashed socialists. So, and it's kind of rare. It's a rarity. Like people who are outspokenly socialist it's a rarity. Like Esha, who's like an outspoken communist who I follow on Twitter. I like her. I like her because she's an outspoken communist. I don't have time for the anarchists, agorists, libertarians. I'm over it. I'm over listening to those folks. They just sound like canned apathy to me. Canned apathy and narrative control. You think creative experiments? I saw something today about there being like a blackout, like the grid going down, which is, I told you, I said they could, something could happen that could encapsulate like a market crash, a system crash, right, and a monetary, kind of like a black swan event that like creates like a jubilee, if you will, right? And people have been talking about a jubilee event for years and years, right? The jubilee is like is a reset, the great reset, but like a monetary reset. Debts are forgiven. The slate is wiped clean, and we start with a new monetary system. And what people are saying is that, that's how they'll usher in a digital system. I don't know that we need like a huge crash like that, but maybe. We're talking about black swans, homie. Only black swans up in here. We don't talk about white swans. Shit. Let's see. I just like this picture. I'm just laughing at Keith David. See you in hell. Oh, this is great. All right. Let's see. God, it's already 1:00. My God. If you want to support the show, if you like the show, I'm not stopping yet. I'm going to keep going. If you want to support the show, lots of ways to do it in the description box of whatever channel you're watching on. All the regular links are there. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently there was a shooting at an ICE office in Dallas. And they've already decided it was, lefty domestic terrorists or something who write anti-ICE on their bullets. It's so ridiculous. This is put out by frickin' the FBI. Like Kash Patel tweeted this. Kash Patel tweeted this. Hey, we found the bullets of the shooter, and here they are. I saw the sinkhole in Bangkok, yeah. Where is it? Just to go along with this. I think somebody said we deserve better psyops. Holy shoot. There's so much to freaking cover right now. Here is the daughter of a New Mexico senator who went to the 50 States One Israel conference. They said this about Louis G too. I know. This is this is pretty great. I hope, I hope, who knows? Hope she's okay. Hope she, hope she's in a good place, a safe place.
So my dad, a Republican state senator in New Mexico, just got back from his trip to Israel, which was not like a personal vacation, by the way. It was him and a bunch of his other Republican cronies who got invited to Israel for what I can only assume was just like a propaganda trip. So yeah, it looks like my dad and a bunch of other just like loser politicians from New Mexico went to meet with Netanyahu, and I don't know what they could possibly discuss. I mean, again, it's my dad and a bunch of other like state senators and state reps, which like, how does meeting with Netanyahu help the local people of New Mexico? But yeah, I genuinely believe that Israel is like paying my dad now to like peddle propaganda, because he also posted this like super long tweet that's like basically dissertation length that I'm not even gonna, I couldn't even take a screenshot of it and get even half of it. Like that would take like 4 screenshots to get the entire thing. So if you want to check it out, I guess go to his Twitter profile. But he was basically just peddling all of this Israeli propaganda, saying that the genocide is a lie and that like civilians aren't being killed and the IDF is doing everything they can to like minimize casualties. And I'm like, how much are they paying my dad? Like how much is his soul? Because it seems like he has sold his soul to the devil and is now just peddling like lies and propaganda, which, I mean, look, look, he's a Republican politician. That's kind of like par for the course. But it's just a little odd to me that somebody who is a state senator, again, he's not even a U.S. senator, he's a state senator, got personally invited to Israel and met with Netanyahu. Like, what is going on here? I'm genuinely so confused, and I don't know. I think there's some like nefarious stuff happening, and I just genuinely hope that this will be the end of my dad's political career, because he is clearly not somebody who has like his constituents' best interests in mind. He just wants that Israeli propaganda money, I guess.
Okay. And is this video really on TikTok? That's what I want to know. I mean, TikTok is now like completely controlled by the Mossad. How was that thing even published on TikTok? That's what I want to know. I mean, if I dropped a video like that, they wouldn't even let anybody see it. They would immediately just go like, nah. So I don't know how that got on TikTok. It's probably not still up, I'm guessing. And maybe somebody got, it got uploaded to Twitter or whatever, but geez. That was pretty rough. Here's Indonesia saying that they are going to commit to boots on the ground in Gaza. And there was another couple of speeches, one by the Colombian president. Is it Colombia or I can't remember which one. I think Colombia.
Indonesia today is one of the largest contributors to United Peacekeeping Forces. We believe in the United Nations. We will continue to serve where peace needs guardians.
Supposedly.
Not with just words, but with boots on the ground. If and when the United Nations Security Council and this great assembly decide Indonesia is prepared to deploy 20,000 or even more of our sons and daughters to help secure peace in Gaza or elsewhere.
I mean, I don't know. They keep on Spain, is coming out saying like no more arms or help to Israel, or we're going to blockade Israel. But I haven't really seen anything definitive happening. I mean, when's it going to happen? When is the UN going to roll into? Somebody was equating the Israeli apartheid with South African apartheid. And the thing that is different though about Israel is where is the where's the population that's going to rise up against Israel and kind of force their hand. The difference with South Africa is that South Africa had a huge, population of people who were against the government, who could, with enough organization and help from the outside world, and like they ended up kind of turning things around themselves. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn around, because it doesn't seem like anybody else on the planet wants to jump in here. Rhodesia too, yeah, creative, right? So unless there's several countries around Israel who are going to just go, okay, that's it. We've had it. I don't see how it's going to happen. Unless the population of Israel is like, okay, we've had it. I don't see how it's going to happen. Let's see. There's a couple other things I wanted to show you, y'all. Here's a weird one going back to Charlie Kirk. The 1998 movie Snake Eyes with actor Nicolas Cage. I haven't watched this at all, by the way. I just grabbed this right before the show, but it looked weird and interesting. Nicolas Cage played a politician, or I don't know if he played it. I haven't watched Snake Eyes. The politician Charles Kirkland is shot in the neck. In the movie, the shooting happens on September 10th. That's weird. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck on September 10th. You can't make this up. Okay, let's listen to this real quick.
There's a movie called Snake Eyes, which came out in 1998. And in that movie, U.S. politician Charles Kirkland is assassinated at a live event by a shot through the neck. Charles Kirkland, like Charles Kirk. And obviously, Charlie Kirk was also shot in the neck, allegedly, right? Well, in the movie Snake Eyes, the heavyweight boxer Lincoln Tyler is in the ring during the assassination. Tyler, like Tyler Robinson. And in Gematria, Lincoln Tyler is 165, like Tyler Robinson is 165. And his nickname is the Executioner, okay? Well, the big part here, guys, in the movie Snake Eyes, the assassination occurs on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was allegedly assassinated on September 10th. Can you believe this, guys? You guys got to share this.
Okay. All right. I don't know. That's weird. Sure. Yeah. He has done a lot of movies. And most of them I generally like, honestly. Sorry to tell you that, but let's see. What else we got here? Got a couple more things. This is wild. This came out in the New York Times. Errol Musk, Elon's father, has been accused of sexually abusing 5 of his children and stepchildren. Good God. Since 1993. Yuck. Let's hope not like father, like son. Doesn't Elon have like 11 kids or something? It's so insane. But, you know, when they tell you the world is run by pedophiles, maybe you should believe them. I'm sure that's you know, partly why Elon Musk is where he is. Kamala Harris called Trump a communist dictator. Well, you know, 50% is okay, I guess. 50% right. He's not a communist. Why is she calling him a communist? This is what's messed up, is that they've so demonized the words communism and socialism that even lefties are using them in a derogatory way, in a way that confuses people about their true meaning of what, you know, what do they mean? Nobody knows, because nobody cares. Nobody goes to school. Nobody reads anymore. It's stupid is as stupid does. And like, I don't know. We live in an anti-intellectual society. People almost pride themselves on being, you know, not too smart, but it's, you know, ridiculous.
A tyrant. We used to compare.
The way she says it too is like, it's a tyrant, and I am late for my brunch.
The strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump.
A communist dictator.
And these titans of industry are not speaking up.
I mean, that was a very short clip, and there was a lot of problems in that whole thing. The titans of industry are not speaking up because they fund the dude. So she is, either classically stupid or she's just playing stupid for the crowd. Probably a little of both. Sorry, not sorry. She's just dumb. Sorry. Some people are just dumb. Some people are just useful tools of the empire, and Kamala Harris is one of those people. Don't stick up for her. Don't feel bad for her. She's not worth your pity nor your recognition as she's a good person. She's just downtrodden. No, she is not downtrodden. No, she is not. She's a very wealthy person married to a Jewish man. I'm sure who's, somehow Zionist Israeli Mossad. It's probably her handler. Don't be sorry for her. Don't be sorry for her. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about you. One iota. She's so dumb. She told a lesbian news anchor that she didn't pick Pete Buttigieg as her running mate because he was gay. She said this on national TV. All right. With the serious face. We're having a serious discussion here. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, that's high comedy. Cynthia McKinney telling you about how her Chinese phone doesn't spy on her the way that Apple or Google phones do. She said, I love my non-Google, non-Apple highway phone. I don't know how to say that. I think that's it. I love my highway phone so much, I bought another one. Go highway. Unlike the folks trying to read this and can't, there's no censorship of me on Highway's Harmony OS, which I think isn't Harmony a crap. Blanking. My brain is blanking. Huawei. Sorry. Thank you, Denver. Is it Huawei? A Linux Harmony OS is like a Linux operating system, isn't it? I'm censored like the Dickens on both Apple and Android. She's also posting Chinese Huawei unveils 3-year plan to overtake NVIDIA in AI technology. Maybe. Just a thought posting this. The EES. This actually reminds me of, this made me think of Trump saying, we need a biometric entry exit visa system on the border. Remember that? The EES is a new digital border control system being rolled out across the EU starting in October 2020. October. That's this month. This coming month. Like, this is a month away. This is now. Happening right now. They're rolling this stuff in like real fast. So just understand that they're rolling it in fast, like really fast as they can. They're rolling it out in the EU starting in October 2025 with full implementation by April 2026. It replaces traditional passport stamping with a secure process that records biometric data, including fingerprint scan. The biometric entry exit visa system. said Trump. So are European citizens going to get out in the streets on this? Are they going to resist this? Are they going to not comply? Are they going to say like, no, thank you. Here's my passport. I wonder if EU citizens are concerned about this, don't want to do it, are going to say no. I don't know. China already won the AI race. All the USA is doing is pumping money into a bubble. Surveillance society thing, which China already has, social credit score included. Yeah, China is way ahead on that, and we want to be like China. We want to be just like them. We funded the whole thing. We helped them set it all up, I'm sure, right? I mean, doesn't it look like that? Like, and we were just talking about Nixon, right? Remember when Nixon was like, hey, we're going to open up trade between China and the U.S. And then, several decades later, China was making literally everything the U.S. had, kind of not unlike Israel. China got a bunch of our technology, right? Like whether it was, by underhanded means or just straight up like, here you go. Here's a bunch of our stuff. Here, take it. We did both, right? We gave it to them just like Israel. Here you go. And then they stole a bunch of it too. Oh, you guys have all the stuff we have? Darn. Dang. Right. And so they've already built out, right, all the digital ID, face tracking, gate tracking. Doesn't Elon want X to be like China's app with the everything app where you buy everything and your social credit score is on there and all your money's on there and you can't do anything without that thing? Or they got it from Israel, who got it from the USA, right? So it looks kind of like we funded the whole operation for them to test it out and try it out and build it out and go, oh, give us a thumbs up. Everything's working. And then now we're going to go just implement whatever they're doing here. I mean, it looks like that's the plan. That seems to be the plan. Well, that's frightening. Isn't it? Last thing. And we will start where we left. We'll leave where we started in the beginning. In the mid-ending. Talking about Jimmy Kimmel. Jake Tapper says, it's pretty much the most direct infringement by the government on free speech that I've seen in my lifetime. These guys have a way of just blowing things up into like, it's the worst thing I've seen since the Civil War. And the morons go, oh yeah, totally. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't even read books anymore. I don't know anything about anything. I could Google it, but I'm too lazy. Mahmoud Khalil was thrown in prison for 3 months for protesting Gaza. So Jimmy Kimmel is the worst infringement on free speech. And a judge just upheld Khalil's deportation on the day that ABC pulled Kimmel off the air. Rumeysa Öztürk, remember the one that was wrote the op-ed, was kidnapped off the street and imprisoned for writing an op-ed on Gaza. Speaking of infringements on free speech, he says the class solidarity in this clip could power the sun for trillions of years. It's truly obscene. The most important rule to avoid all these hazards, per usual, is to first and foremost make sure you are in the club. First, they came for the Gaza protesters, and I said nothing because I'm a racist company man who mostly thinks they had it coming. So there you go. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, somebody supported me on, what was it? Come on. Somebody bought some coffees. Thank you. And it says someone. So I don't know who bought me coffees, but thank you, whoever bought me the coffees. I appreciate it. Someone bought me 3 coffees. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I will be back tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. And until then, beware the bear.